Yeah. And then
Why is my camera not coming up? Oh, I've got to connect that to your.
that whole over 60.
So Paul,
Yeah.
are you getting ready to line up your summer jobs?
Yes, I was going to ask you if you were still in that.
Yeah, so whenever
We're
you're
streaming,
ready,
lady.
just come in and
We're streaming.
Okay.
and
Just letting you know.
So, I thought,
take a look.
Yep.
Let me know
You're
the
still on
damage.
top of the list.
Okay, alright, very good.
yeah.
Hi, Jen.
Yeah. Yep. That'll be great.
We'll blame whoever
Wasn't
doesn't
me.
show up.
Whoever it is, I want to
I think it's probably a back order.
Is that what it is?
Just being delivered.
George, how are you?
And they were all there.
you're here, so that's good. Right?
And I'm like,
That is.
I'm like,
I just need one more person. I really need one more person.
out here. I was like, all right, see you later. I'm mad about it.
We should go there.
I thought it was leading in. There's no flag.
I was like, Lisa's on the
Oh, yeah,
It's not there.
you have to look at your iPad.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And that clock's 3 minutes slow. Still, I don't know why that. That's the only one in the district that's.
Except for like me.
It shouldn't happen because it should all come from a time slot.
Are you talking about the time being off?
So they still
already?
couldn't clock.
I've mentioned something to Grant about it.
I told Moss before they came the last time it was off. And they said they'd take care of it. Obviously they forgot.
So they're not replacing any of these then?
We're gonna
The old
put
clock?
something on.
I don't know why that
I
one got
took it
taken
down
down.
because last time we were in here you said there's gonna be any more analog clocks in this building, they're all wrong, so I went around and no.
Did you really? No, you didn't.
Yes.
Not in the classrooms.
Not classrooms, just this common area ones that were.
Yeah, but you didn't. You see, I don't like openings like that. We got to get Spencer to
One
cover
step
it.
at a time. I'll stick a picture of your face over it.
It really bothers me when things are left like they're not
I
finished.
understand.
Put a picture of my face on it. I dare you.
I don't
I
have to
double
do it.
dog dare you.
Those are fighting words, sir.
I just want fat head of
Don't
my
ask
son
for
to
something
try.
that you-
Just put a big fat head of my son up there. He would love that. He would. He would.
Did you see Darren put it?
Yeah, I thought he did. Well, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, he's walking in right now.
Who is?
Paula.
Welcome to the Union City Community Schools Board Meeting. Our meeting agenda is available for you to follow. The expectation for our board meeting is to follow this agenda closely. We operate under the Open Meetings Act and utilize Robert's Rules of Order to govern our discussion and decision-making process. There is an opportunity for public comment during our set agenda. We welcome the public to express their opinions during this time of our agenda. If there are questions about the agenda or the board meeting process, please seek out one of the board members for clarification. Do we have any addition or deletion of items to the agenda? All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda as provided.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Move on to correspondence. It looks like we have some correspondence this evening.
We do. We have the resignation from the board of Dave Mathis. Would you like me to read that aloud?
Sure.
As the March board meeting approaches, I realize that I will not be able to return in a reasonable time. Therefore, I will resign as a board member effective March 18th, 2024. It has been a pleasure to be a part of the Union City School System for 33 years. Sincerely, Dave Mathis.
Thank you. And I will say, Mr. Mathis did a lot of work while he was on this board, and I hope that he is able to enjoy his time. We'll move on now to comments from the audience on the agenda items. This is a section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about items on the agenda. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any comments this evening during public comment time this time around? Seeing none, we'll move on now to the action items. First item up, financials. Board action is required to approve the financials for the month ending February 29th, 2024. I would entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion.
Didn't see anything out of the ordinary. Anybody else?
All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Retirement. Mr. Sock, middle school custodian, is retiring effective April 12th, and he has worked for UCCS for 28 years. I would entertain a motion to accept his retirement.
So moved.
Support.
Discussion?
He was there when I was there. Been there a long time.
He
Did a
will
lot
be-
for this district.
He will be missed. The kids
Very
absolutely
missed.
love him.
So he really is moving to Cambodia.
That's what he tells me his plan is, yes.
Yeah, he'll be missed.
I can remember he was going for citizenship when my kids were in middle school, and
Yeah.
the kids were charged with helping him study
Mhm.
by asking him questions. So, good luck to him as well. All right, move on to board presidency pay increase. Board action is required to increase the board president's pay, and I would entertain a motion for the same. You may want to do that motion, Darren, since it's kind of in your
I'll make the
wheelhouse
same
right
motion
now.
I made last time. We can discuss it. I'm making a motion to increase the board president's pay to $40 a meeting instead of $25.
I support that.
Discussion.
Last time Jen didn't like 40.
I didn't know where the number came from.
Thought it wasn't twice as good, but it was better than. You know. I
I
don't know.
just had a question.
I don't care. We can. I have no problem with it.
I
I don't think
Is it
100 is
good?
appropriate, really, based on what we're doing. But
I think 40 is a good number. Once we discussed it, I think that is valid.
I don't know if that makes any difference to the payroll. If that's a problem, if it, I'm not trying to cause more. I mean,
Not a problem.
It's a big responsibility, like forties.
I'm setting it up so that Paul wants to do it next time. that extra $15 is all it takes.
Yeah.
Darren, I rolled in right before you. I left people swinging up there, not feeling great. I hope they all landed on their feet.
If anyone has any different opinion on, I mean, there's two things to discuss. One, should it happen? Two, how much? I mean, so I don't. There's a discussion about should it happen or not. I guess.
I think it's
I would say
appropriate.
yes.
Okay. And the question is how much. So
I like 40.
okay.
So I'm
Does anyone have a problem with 40 they want to talk about during discussion time? Okay, and then it would be happening as of April, I guess. Do I need to put that in my motion, or we can figure out the details?
I don't know if that would need to be in a motion.
well, we can talk, if it's a
If
problem,
you
I can.
increase it, it'll
I'm
go
gonna
into
do-
effect the next time we run payroll.
We could raise it 20% every year with inflation.
Alright, moving on.
All right, so all those, in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those, and I am abstaining, all those opposed, the same, and that motion carries. All right, termination of bus driver. Board action is required to terminate the bus driver as noted.
Make a motion to terminate the bus driver.
Support.
Discussion?
It's unfortunate, and I hope we can find somebody else too. And
We have 2 in training being tested in the next 2 weeks.
Great.
I think we gave the individual opportunity to fix the problem, it sounds like. It's not, so, I mean, it wasn't, I think it was the right decision.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. Spring coaching recommendations. Board action is required to approve spring coaching recommendations of Haley Denny, Athletic Director, as presented. I would entertain a motion for the same.
So moved.
I'll second it. Discussion?
Just 2 positions, right? JV baseball and middle school track girls.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, and the motion carries. Track resurfacing bid. Board action is required to approve the track resurfacing bid. I would entertain a motion for the same.
There is a recommended motion in your,
Oh, that's right.
in the agenda.
Uh,
We had 5 bids, and the 2 lowest were from Current Surfaces and AG Sports. And I met with Mr. Iyer, talked with him about the different surfaces and what he knew of those companies, and I also drove and went and looked at the track. Current Surfaces most recent track or closed track is Homer, and they did that last year, and I took a look at that, and I looked at the track that AG Sports had done in 2018 in Mendon. So I did go and look at both of those. Mike felt, and I have to say, it felt that way to me as well, that the track in Mendon is softer, and which is helpful for preventing injuries when you work out, when you're using the track a lot. And that was his preference, and based on the pricing, they were very close, but my recommendation was to go with the AG Sports bid. That price includes $10,000 toward repair and cleaning of the asphalt, assuming it needs it. If it doesn't, in other words, that's an allowance. So we might use part of that or all of it. So that's why I suggest the motion should say not to exceed rather than an exact dollar amount, because it could come in less than that.
Be not to exceed 118.5, right?
Yes.
I would make a motion that we go with the recommendation from the superintendent for AG Sports to resurface the track for an amount not to exceed $118,500.
Support.
Discussion?
I looked at all the bids too before I went for email just to see if I've come to the same conclusion, and I actually did, so I guess that's good.
Good.
That's good.
One of the main reasons that you didn't mention that I thought was important is AG Sport does provide a 5-year warranty on their track, and Current Surfaces did not, according to their bid. So,
I thought there was a 5-year, I'm pretty sure there was a 5-year warranty.
you see it on Current Surfaces, but maybe, and it's a little confusing too, because someone will talk about number of layers and someone will talk about thickness, and to me thickness
Mhm.
is more important than number of layers, because then I can compare 1/2 inch versus
Right.
7/16 versus what's 8 layers, but yeah, anyway, I didn't see the warranty, but I think AG Sport, it looks like it's actually the same thickness or thicker, so, and it comes with a warranty.
Yeah, it is thicker than Current's. At the Current's base bid was a six layer, which is 3/8 inch, and AG Sports is 1/2 inch is their base bid. And I did get a bid from Current for a 1/2 inch, and it was more than AG's was for a 1/2 inch.
1 year guarantee against any defects in material and or workmanship.
Okay. Right, the other one's 5, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was the right, I think AG Sport. It'd be nice to have polyurethane one, we don't have $200,000, so I guess we'll go with latex and rubber, but it seemed like it was the most logical
Well,
decision.
given the age of our asphalt, you know, the asphalt underneath it, although both of them, they said it's in good shape, just like the asphalt company had told us that it's still in really good shape, but it was put down in 2007, something like that. And so I wouldn't want to put a really expensive surface on top of it when, if we're going to put down an expensive surface, let's do it on fresh asphalt too, so we know it's going to last a long time. So.
The only other question I had is, are we good, we still have to paint it, correct, for this year? Because you can't see anything on the track now.
Mike is going to be doing some touch-ups to make it usable. It will not be in its best condition for this year, that is correct.
And the cost of paint is not cheap, so we don't wanna do that.
No, we're not gonna do a full painting on it. It isn't. He's actually made some cutouts that he can use to put down and use as spray paint to do the exchange zones for relays and those kind of things that are the most critical. So,
And it sounds like it'll be done this summer, so.
yes, that was the other thing I wanted. I told him it had to be done between July 4th and August 15th. And AG said that they could do that, definitely.
Sounds good.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carries. We'll move on now to discussion item, dedication plaque for bleacher project. So this was something that I had talked with Chris about because I would like to acknowledge the people that put the work in to do that project, which would include us and Chris. And the plaque I looked at that I had the idea from was the one that's right outside the media center here. And I know Chris had sent us another plaque idea as well.
I just
So,
took one off of a website that
Yeah.
makes them, but I just felt like I needed to know what all of you wanted, if that's what you want to do, what you want on it.
so what do you all think about that? And what things would you include on that? Other than,
I like the idea, I mean, the group of us that's been on the building and grounds team for years, has been pushing for this for a long time. And, we should be proud that it's gonna happen, I mean, obviously, it's a big thing for the community, and I think it'd be nice to have something there to commemorate that work. But one of the hard parts is with the board is we've changed people, so like, I mean, Jem was part of it, and Kyle and others, so it's, I don't know how you denote that, but I think it's appropriate, and if I'm willing to chip in for the cost for it too, personally, so if that matters. Or buy it all, it's not crazy.
yeah. That is a thought that I also thought as well, is that there has been, it kind of straddled, people being on and off and changed and stuff. So, do you go with who was here when it started or who was here when it ended? What's your
I
thought?
think typically they
Form members.
put on the people that were on the board at the time they voted to approve the expenditure, for the contracts to do the work. Because that's really the time that,
The decisions made.
the decision's made, the money's allocated, and then the project happens.
Mhm.
And that was,
So I believe typically that's what you do, is you take the board members that were on when we approve the contracts
Mhm.
with the contractors, so.
that was in
But
January.
I don't know that it has to be that. We could, if you want to have more people on, or, I mean, it's your pleasure what you all would like to do.
In that case,
Any thoughts
So
from
that would
anyone
be-
regarding that?
so who would that be then? That was done when?
2 years ago?
Did
Year
you
ago?
vote for that?
The,
Were you here when
the,
foreign services came in and we yelled at them? Okay.
yeah,
So
the-
then, then
I
I
think
guess.
I think it would be this current board,
Yeah.
Okay.
including Dave,
Okay.
Yes.
yes.
I don't know.
Dave definitely yelled at me, so Dave's name should be on there.
Kyle was the last person to leave the board, right?
Yes. sir.
Yes.
And Kyle was not part of that, as I
Okay.
recall.
Okay. Then yeah, I mean, I think it should be, superintendent, president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, and then members and whoever else you want to put on there.
Mhm.
Do you want others on there? I mean, is there,
I think you should be on there.
you want to put the architect on? Do you want to put, I mean, that kind of stuff? Because I think this has been this.
This has, the Binda as the architect, but I don't know if we wanna put that on there.
I don't
It's up
wanna.
to you.
I don't,
What do
There's,
you think?
there are
Can-
parts I don't want on there, that's
Correct.
for sure. If you,
Correct. I think we should just stick with board.
I mean, I don't know,
and
Ryan's
superintendent.
put a lot into it, but he was a big part of it too, but.
Ryan was a big part of it.
I know he did some things as favors and or, other things
True.
too for us, which I appreciate.
Maybe we can come up with a separate, I would like to come up with a separate type of acknowledgement. We are, I know for the press box work that was donated to the boosters there, they're gonna have some sort of is it a plaque? That has the names of the people that donated for that. So I would like to come up with something specific to the bleachers, specifically for Ryan. Because he has, I mean, I know we've paid him for his work, but believe me, he's done above and beyond what we paid him.
Could we thank our local people who have helped, our local
Sure.
businesses that
Yep.
have helped?
Yep.
Well, and I
Absolutely.
know cement work, they usually put some sort of stamp in it, don't they, or
They usually do.
plaque or something for their
Usually
cement work?
somewhere.
So they already have their name on it.
Mhm.
Probably somewhere if they don't, I haven't seen it yet, but if they don't, they probably will before they're. Let me see if I can work up something separate for Ryan and as an acknowledgement of his extra efforts, cause he really has done a lot.
Mhm.
I guess we can,
All right,
find out what it would cost and, whatever, and we can.
I'll put something together then and get kind of a mock-up and bring it back for you to look at before we move forward with it.
Sounds good.
Can we get a bronze statue of Ryan?
Yeah,
Spartan.
like that.
He is a tall guy.
It's,
It'd be a
yeah,
pretty cool statue.
it costs a lot.
Maybe we can have it speak too when you push a button or something.
I would like to put on there an acknowledgement also of the taxpayers of our school district
Right,
for,
sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
for supporting it.
Yeah, 'cause they pay more than anybody
Yeah.
else.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Next we'll move to information items, grant award notification.
So we received a notification that a grant we applied for to study consolidation was approved for $45,500. This is a grant that the state was offering competitively for districts who are interested in either consolidating with other districts or consolidating services within a district. And so the money will be used to, which will help us immensely in studying our facilities. The biggest part of that is a contract with an architect, C2AE, to do a complete analysis in depth of our facilities and make recommendations. So that's going to be a big help for us in determining exactly what we need to do. The other aspect of it is it's anticipated that the state will then be offering grants to actually do the construction work. necessary identified through this study. And in order to qualify for any of those grants, you had to have received this grant. So now we are in the door as far as if those future grants for construction come through, being offered, based on the study, we could apply for and receive funds that would assist us with any construction we might want to do. So it could end up benefiting us with a significant amount of money to help with our future construction. So.
So who's driving this? Like, I mean, who's in charge? You, or how are we deciding how to use the money?
How are we deciding? Okay, so what we did was actually it was Christman, the company that we are as our construction manager, that we're working on putting together a future project. They are the ones that brought the grant application to our attention, and that it was. I knew about the grant, but I wasn't aware you could apply for it for consolidation within. So like if you combine two buildings into one or something like that along those lines. And because I had talked with other districts about, we should talk about this, we could apply for a grant to study it. Nobody close to us is interested, as we've talked about before. But they brought it to our attention that in the fine print, it says you can actually study consolidating buildings within your district. And so, and not just school buildings, but it could be other ways of consolidating things we do. And so they helped us put together a list of who we would need, what we would need to help do the study. Sarah, I think, how many different people do we have involved in that? There's the architect, there's a small amount for Chrisman, there is technology, studying, consolidating technology services.
Oh, and then, looking into, like future projections for pupil count.
Yes.
To have an idea of.
There's someone that's part of that will give us future projections for our enrollment. But the bulk of it is the architect, which is really where we needed the money. So Chrisman has already started the conversations with C2AE, and we talked to each other, he and I did at Chrisman, and I asked him to reach out to C2AE, they're starting to put together when we're going to have our first meeting, and then we'll get those folks together and have a meeting, and we're getting it started as soon as possible, because the sooner we get it started, the sooner we'll get the results, and it's all paid for by the state. So
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, softball scoreboard donation. A thank you to Southern Michigan National Bank and Trust for their donation of the new scoreboard for the softball field.
yeah, so I reached out to Southern Michigan, and then Haley and I had a meeting with a few of the representatives and talked to them about continuing their sponsorship of our softball scoreboard. The one that we have needs to be replaced, and they already have sponsored the baseball scoreboard in the past, and they were very kind and really wanted to do that for the community. And so they have stepped up to fund the entire cost of the scoreboard, which is $18,600 roughly. And they're going to be basically paying it over 3 years. So we're going to do it up front, but then they'll reimburse us. And we are covering the installation costs, which should be minimal, I hope. And we're actually, I think Spencer has someone who donated the posts for the baseball one, who is also going to donate the posts, or possibly for the softball. So as soon as I get exactly who that is, I know it's going to be one of two people. So I'm just trying to not say it out be wrong. So when that happens, I'll let you know about that as well too. So, and that's been ordered, I believe, and right? Yeah.
No, we still need the logo.
Oh yes, we're waiting from Southern Michigan to get us the exact logo that they want on their little sign that goes on it. So once we get that, it will be ordered.
Do we need to vote to approve that donation? Cause it's over a certain dollar amount?
I'm not aware of that.
I thought we
didn't pass.
have done that in the past. I know if it's over, I just can't remember the dollar amount. I wanna
will-
say it
I
was
will-
over $500.
I didn't see anything like that. I know that the board has done that in the past. I didn't see that it was a requirement, but
Okay.
I can check. And if that is the case, then we'll do that at the next meeting.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
wanna cover our bases.
I'll make sure. I didn't find anything on that in the policies, but I will check.
Okay,
Because I at one point, I had looked this up recently because at one point, anybody donated to the school, if they said, I want to give $500 and I want to use it for the music program to buy a piano, I remember, and this goes back years ago, the board routinely always voting on every little donation, because they wanted to be clear that people couldn't designate what the money was spent on. But in recent years, we haven't been doing that. People donate things in smaller amounts. And so I did not specifically search for if there was a higher dollar amount that we would have to look for that. I just searched for regarding donations, but I will look for that
okay.
to see if there's some certain dollar amount where it has to be approved.
I just remember voting on that in the past, and
Okay.
so I just wanna make sure that we have all of our bases covered.
Yeah,
Softball bases covered.
I will look up board policies on donations and I will update you before the next meeting on what it says.
Perfect, thank you.
That was a good one. That was good.
Thanks. Well, you know, my son's home from Buffalo and he's the pun master, so I've been around it for the last few days. All right, we'll move on to our second public comment time. This is the section of the meeting in which the public may make comments or share their opinions about the Union City Community Schools. We ask you to limit your comments to no longer than 5 minutes per person to allow others the opportunity to speak. This is an opportunity for the board to listen to your concerns. It is not board practice to act on the concerns voiced during this meeting to allow for the board to do further research. Do we have any public comments at this time?
I was kind of hoping we had just one more board member here today, but oh well, maybe he's watching at home right now. Almost 4 years ago, on October 26, 2020, I remember that date since it was my birthday, we had a school board meeting. It was held in the gym. Remember those good fun times? It was also the first board meeting that we had with new board member Dave Mathis. At the conclusion of the meeting, I approached Mr. Mathis with a paper, this paper right here. I found this in my classroom desk 15 years earlier, and I held on to it, and still have held on to it 4 more years later. It was a note that he had left in his old desk, which I was now using. I gave him a copy of it. It was words of advice that he was giving to whoever would acquire this desk, which is now mine. Here's a few of the comments he made. What will be your legacy? In Union City, the most important thing you can do is shape the morals and values of others you have influence over. Be a role model. Live in Union City. Shop here. Go to sporting events. Stop and talk to others when you see them. Make your classroom different than all the others. Now, Mr. Mathis no longer leads a classroom, but I think we can all agree he has made our school board room way different than has ever been in the past. Have morals and values. Don't drink or smoke. Don't curse. Have faith. Put Christ first in your life. The Bible's the greatest book ever written. Read it. Have a sense of humor. Be enthusiastic. Enthusiasm sells anything. These are just a few of the comments and suggestions he made in this paper that ended up in my possession. Personally, I've tried so very hard to do pretty much everything he suggested and then some. I believe that even though Mr. Mathis hasn't been teaching in a classroom the past 19 years, it is obvious that he still used these suggestions as a guideline for him as a school board member. These are great words of wisdom to live by. While I'm saddened for his retirement from the school board, I, as well as the school district, feel fortunate to have had him serve these past 4 years. I only hope that he will be replaced with someone with the same morals and characters he exhibits and always put others first before himself. If you're listening, Mr. Mathis, thank you for your service. You'll be missed.
Thank you. Any other public comments at this time? All right, we'll move on to board roundtable. Does anybody have anything that they would like to bring forward at this time?
I'm not sure when to do this, so I'll do it now. I spoke with Mr. Rathburn, and the Centennial Trust Fund is, so I'm happy to be a member of, to support that for the board, but there is no work
Okay.
to be done.
Take that off our list.
I'm sure you're all waiting to hear that information.
All right,
I have one question.
sure.
Yeah.
We had talked a while back about the trees being removed at the top of the football field. Is that still gonna happen?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, I hope so, yes.
all right.
Yeah, I've gotta get back with Ryan about that. He and I had a couple different conversations about it in the fall, and then he got on to other things, and so, yes, that is still a plan.
I just thought it was a good idea, and I
Yeah.
noticed them the other day, and I said,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder where we were with that.
We're actually gonna be doing some things with removing some trees on the hill that's adjacent to the football field as well, right along the further east of the track area. There's that hill before you get to the bus garage. Removing some trees there to make an area that football players can run up and down the hill on, like they used to in the old days. And it will also be a better location for unauthorized sledding by children in the winter. Then I saw videos of children sliding down our hill over here this winter and jamming their faces into our fence when they got to the bottom. So that area would be a nice area where they could use their sleds to go down and a long distance without running into a fence.
Unauthorized.
I like that.
It should work out well to do that. So, yeah, all of that is something we're still planning to do. Yeah.
I talked about getting some red maples and paying for them too, right?
You did.
All right. Anything else? Okay. Well, our next item is going to be a closed session. The only thing left after that is going to be adjournment. You're welcome to stay while we discuss things in closed session, and you can see us vote to adjourn, and that's about it. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the same. Motion carried. We will go into closed session. Need to take a quick break. Now will be your time.